Hey everyone, we wrapped up our live coverage. I do apologize for the way that I look. We, like I said, wrapped up shower, about to go to sleep, but of course was still have my phone out and got the notification that Trump has won Georgia. So rushed back to the office, again, just as fast as I could so we could do this. Because it felt wrong to just go to bed and know the result, but not speak to all of you about it. And so, Jaden, you can show this. Technically here, the Associated Press, a lot of networks haven't officially called it. But Trump's delivering a victory speech right now, and Pennsylvania has been called for Trump, which makes it that he's the president-elect. It's devastating. It is, I will get to what I hope will induce some optimism. I think that's always important, but it's devastating. And I guess I should start with this result. Let's back it up. Even from there, I want all of you to try to embrace calm as much as you can. I'm trying to, because I think one of the things I'm seeing even online and on Twitter is MAGA folk wanting to, of course, shove it in our face and say, see, this means we're right about everything. We'll have many conversations. The future, debunking, the different things. They'll say, this result bolsters. And I'm so sorry, guys. I'm normally so prepared to do segments, but not today. Right. Out of this shower, and I guess I'll say, let's not give that to them, right? Let's not melt down over it, freak out, but let's also not sugarcoat it. Trump, the guy who tried to do the coup last time, he was president. Trump, the guy who called for the termination, the Constitution, threatened media outlet sexual abuser as litigated in a civil trial, failed us in a time of crisis. He doesn't deserve to be president again, but America gave that to him, and it's a devastating indictment of the state of the American electorate. And while I, again, just didn't feel right not speaking to you before waking up tomorrow in this new world, we will have many conversations in the future dissecting this. So I'm not going to get into the big post-mortem at this point in time, analyzing what went wrong and what could have been done better. But what I want all of you to know is we did what we could. Write us, the members of the audience who write in, saying they went to vote as a Republican for a Democrat for the first time, or they're a first-time voter, a college student. The money we raised, the advocacy, we did. We left it all out on the field. And that is something you should feel good about. And we can only control what we can. Can control, of course, a bunch of our fellow Americans let us down, but don't descend into rage at one another within our movement, right? Because I'm already seeing the pointing fingers. No, you had the wrong strategy. There'll be time for that. We can do it in a level-headed way. But we know that ultimately, when the story is told, we were on the right side of history. And for that, we should get some assurance. And then, it's sad. We're already seeing across channels like mine, people unsubscribing in mass, right? The sadness that comes of that and wanting to detach. And I honestly understand if that's what it's about. But again, as I'll keep saying, we have a lot to discuss in future days. One of them is this. To me, I always say, I like to believe it's not all about issues with people's values, but also with just the information they're getting. And this bolsters why it's so important that we don't rely so much on the mainstream legacy media outlet that have let us down. They did not report on Trump correctly. And the fact that you have that, and then the Fox Newses of the world that make everything, like we talked about in the stream, so wonky and so unequal, and Democrats, Republicans being held to such different standards, such that you can show this. Again, Jaden, technically he's 3 electoral votes away, but expected to get there, that this can happen. This is not reflective of a proper information environment. What he did, what he represents. No, and I also don't think we need to feel like, did we have it wrong, MAGA insists, no, see, this proves no, we're correct about him. We are, and we're not going to stop telling the truth about that because of this result. And then the other piece of hope is he's a profoundly tired and lazy and incompetent person. So our hope is he's too incompetent to do the worst of his ambitions. And again, we did what we could. But to get back to what I was saying about sort of this environment, if you you need to detach, do it. If you need to tune out until Inauguration Day, do what's best for you, or if you want to keep up with it, do that. But I think as a movement, we should remember that this is first further sign that we need to strengthen our platforms. Because when you have the dishonesty and the propaganda, like on Fox News, that enables someone like Trump to be able to do this, and then this really failing and not meeting the moment sort of mainstream, quote unquote, liberal media, legacy media of course, this becomes more likely. And so outlets that you believe are doing it right, or shows that you believe are doing it correctly, speaking about this moment, meeting the moment, I do encourage you support them if that's me or someone else. Or, different show network. Because clearly people are not getting the information because the facts favor us, they do. And when the facts favor you but you lose, it means the facts haven't been delivered to people properly. And so we need to strengthen this online media pro-democracy movement. And Trump is speaking right now. I hope this is all okay with you guys. I think if you really want to see his victory speech, you could go see it. We'll play clips from it in our coverage tomorrow. I don't think we need that right now. And then this is a promise I want to make to y'all. One of the things I get in terms of feedback from you a lot is that I bring a level of joy, a lot of days, not all days, but to doing this, that you appreciate because it's so stressful. And so someone who can, bring a little bit of joy to it can lessen the burden. And while this is such a serious moment, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to act like, oh, never mind. I actually think he's not going to be bad. We're just going to take it one moment at a time, and I hope our guardrails hold yikes. And then I'm going to do my absolute best when appropriate to bring as much joy as I can, because I think what's leading some to literally unsubscribed and just, I can't, which I understand is feeling like it's not worth it to care if this can happen after caring so much. But the less of us who care, the more likely more results like this are. And so those of us who are right on the facts and are right on our love for our democracy and dedicated truth, we have to keep on keeping on and caring. But Trump will be our next president, and I'll be here every step of the way, of course, doing my best to deliver the facts pragmatically, accurately, meeting the moment, but also doing my best to ease that stress with lightheartedness here and there, because it's heavy. It's heavy stuff, and so many people for decades are going to be impacted by this. And again, I come back to, he really is an incompetent person. So a weird thing to say, but my hope is his incompetence will get in the way of the damage we know he's willing to inflict, but will he be able? That's the big question. And I can't reiterate enough that our movement, people who align with our basic values, where we lost electorally, we did, but we are large in numbers, and we're correct on those basics, and it's more important than ever for us to stay engaged and not to just let go of caring about the country that we love. By the way, MAGA, do you see how that works? How I still love my country even when it's about to have a really bad leader, unlike what you say. And of course, on a personal level, it's a little hurtful that so many people are wanting to punish us for this, which is what's happening. And in people unsubscribing and being mad again, I understand, I sympathize, but remember who deserves your rage. It's definitely not the people who have been working every single day to try to get the other result to happen, right? And then listen, this is totally me just trying to think of the positive, as I'll credit my mother, Leslie Beasley. Always tried to get me to look at the bright side throughout my childhood. If we want real change, major change, and want to build a lasting coalition and movement, the next few years are going to be motivating for people who believe in what we do in a way that you rarely see. And what I mean is, and I just want to reiterate, I only want to discuss this because now we know he's won, or he's going to win. This is not the preferable, obviously, but what people unfortunately can get their head around much more easily, activating and motivating when the leaders that they would be motivating around aren't currently in power, because it's so easy to blame all problems on the person currently in power. And so what we've seen, why Harris lost here, is because a bunch of things that she's not to blame for, she got blamed for. I think seeing Trump in the White House, and he's going to embarrass us on the global stage. My hope is that the best we can do in that circumstance is use that as the biggest justification ever to remind people of why we need a stronger movement. We need stronger media that reflects our values. We need our information, the facts getting out better into more people and compelling more people with that. And them seeing Trump not as a candidate who's just out there doing rallies, but the president and all that he's going to represent. We should do our best to mobilize people around our values by pointing to what is so antithetical to them, right? Embodied by Trump. So I am sorry. And again, we will do all we can to get through this. And America has horrified the world. Even thinking about the struggle for democracy globally is taking a huge blow tonight. I mean, we as a country have failed the world tonight, and it's disturbing, but we can't control that. What we can control is keeping ourselves, our chin up and being proud of the fact that even someone as anti-democratic and horrible as Trump, we're going to demonstrate for history, showing MAGA what they didn't have the character to do. We're going to show them what it looks like to respect democracy, and then what it looks like to resist and oppose and reject the harmful president we're about to have in a peaceful and democratic and moral way, right? And doing it because of our love for the country, not because of our hate for a particular group of people or something. And yes, I'm disgusted with people doing this. Of course, I don't want to go on a rant, as I told you before. MAGA loves when that happens. I'm sorry, this is just debacle, but I may have stronger words to share after it's not 3 a.m. Once I've been able to process this, but I want to be as transparent as possible. Hop on. Much love to you all. Now, this is our moment to continue standing for what we know is right and show the world, think about, as the world watches this, they need to see that there is a motivated, confident opposition to this, and that we are not leaving this up to chance. We're going to do everything we can to continue working on the right side of history. So do what you need to do. Take time off in politics, or if keeping up with it a lot is the way that you cope. Do that deep breaths. And this is terrible. I want to uplift you, because everyone's going to correctly put you down. Not put you down correctly, but, correctly make you feel what this moment calls for, and I want to do both. So this is horrible. It is what it means globally, and in the trajectory of history and democracy and women's rights and the economy, and also one step at a time. We have each other, and we're going to do all the work we can. And America has made it through some really difficult times, as you know. And so in this moment, I rarely say this. Y'all know this sort of like self-help stuff, I usually void, but allow yourself to think about yourself for the coming days. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you're stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments, or just say, "Hi, thank you for your support, and until next time, I'll see you soon."